Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for the Walking Dead universe, and in today's video we're going to be doing another ranking video. This one we're going to be going over all 7 of the Walking Dead shows that have aired so far, and we're going to rank them from worst to best. Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today. This one's going to be doing a review for the Walking Dead universe, and in today's video we're going to be doing another ranking video, and in today's video we're going to go over all 7 of the Walking Dead shows and rank them from worst to best. So, obviously after the end of The Ones Who Live, this is one of the discussion videos I definitely wanted to get into. I also have one ranking the top 5 best characters of The Ones Who Live, so that'll be coming up as well, but where does Ones Who Live kind of blend in with all this stuff, and where does Ones Who Live kind of, go, is definitely going to be the interesting part of this whole thing. So obviously I'd like to hear your 7 worst to best in the comment section below. Obviously this is just a matter of opinion, so make sure to keep that in mind and make sure to remain respectful in the comments of others' opinions, of course. But with all that being said, let's get right into this. Starting off with number 7, we're going to go with the worst show in my opinion of The Walking Dead, Tales of the Walking Dead. Now, for me, this is an easy win for them because honestly, this show had very little purpose to it at all. They really made sure that this was explained as a anthology series where you see 6 different stories on different Walking Dead characters. And even though I do think that Terry Crews and a few of the other actors did a pretty good job, a lot of these episodes have no purpose in the overall franchise. And they also felt very disjointed from everything else. They went for a comedy approach in this show, which I didn't think worked in pretty much any of the episodes. And they also found, for some reason, found the idea to do an alpha episode midways through, which does little to nothing for the original Walking Dead, but, they still decided to do it anyway. I don't think that this show really makes a lot of sense. They introduced ghosts in this, which is a horrible idea. You got, little, figurines on the wall moving and stuff like that, you've got a whole episode where somebody's studying zombies, which it's okay, fine, but it's why are we seeing this? They did it way better in the original Walking Dead. This show to me felt like they were trying to do something that just did not work no matter how hard they tried. And to be honest, especially with the expectations that a lot of us fans had about how much of a purpose that this would have in the franchise, and maybe seeing some backstory on some characters that we may have wanted to see, like the governor, like Tyrese, like some of these people that we originally thought were maybe going to be in this show, didn't happen. It's a bunch of random people that probably will never continue in the franchise again. It's the most pointless, it's the most dragged out, it's the most just really clunky writing I've ever seen for The Walking Dead. I mean, it's that simple. Number 6 is then going to go to The World Beyond. Now, this one is almost as pointless because, again, I don't think any of the characters from this show are ever going to show up in the franchise again. But the other thing about this show is that they try to force this storyline of the CRM, right? Because at first it starts off as a teenager drama, which admittedly, if it's stuck to the season 1 style, I think it would be worse than Tales of the Walking Dead. The only reason it's a little bit higher than Tales is because they do go into the CRM in the 2nd season, and we do get Jadis that's in this show from the original Walking Dead. She definitely helps the interest a little bit, but I still do not connect with most of the characters that are in this show. Most of the characters in The World Beyond are not good characters, and I definitely think this show suffered with a lot of its cast. A lot of the charisma wasn't there, and overall the music at times felt very off. It just didn't feel like anything we've seen before, which I'm all down for uniqueness. That's not the problem with the show at all. I just think that the writing was a little off, and I think the first season in particular really suffers a lot. And overall, I thought the 2nd season would have a bigger purpose once we got to The Ones Who Live, which it obviously didn't. This show did not need to be 2 seasons. We did not need this show. They should have taken The World Beyond, and instead of making it a CRM show with some teenagers leading it, they should have scrapped the teenagers and made it a 2-season origin story on the CRM and what they do and what they're about, and develop Major General Beale in that show. That would have easily made this show higher up on the list if they would have done that, but they didn't do that. They went for a teen drama, and then at the last minute in season 2, it turned into, oh, here's the CRM, That doesn't earn my respect at all. Number 5. is then going to go to Fear the Walking Dead. Now, I know you guys probably say, well, Dan, this is the show that you rant on the most. I mean, this show you freak out on the most. Yeah, and you want to know why I do that is because this show is, in my opinion, the most impressive fail I've ever seen in my life. Now, let me explain what I mean by the most impressive fail. What I mean by that is that this show had such a cool concept going for it when it back in the first few seasons, you know, when Dave Erickson was running the show. And I will admit, I think that the first couple seasons are pretty solid, you know? I think they're overpraised. I think people act like they're way better than they actually are. But the first 3 seasons are really good. I will still say, the first 3 seasons, in comparison to everything else, is really good. But after that, they let 2 of the dumbest showrunners I've ever seen take over the show. Ian and Andrew, Ian Goldberg and Andrew Chambers, right? And they messed the show up. I mean, they went for this crossover approach with Morgan, which, funny enough, I was never against. But then the show just progressed, and it got worse and worse and worse and worse. And by the time season 8 came around, they tried to repair what they did, and they tried to bring Madison back and bring back Troy Otto and bring back that nostalgia. And I think it actually made it even worse in the end. This show is very impressive to me because it's such an easy show to make. This show originally was going to be about a woman like Madison Clark eventually losing her mind in the Walker apocalypse, and eventually she goes crazy. She goes absolutely insane. And we are following a slow progressing villain, you know? That was the original concept for Fear the Walking Dead. And had they have done that, I think this show would have gone up there, to be honest, as maybe my second or third favorite. But they didn't do that, and they messed it up. They did some horrible storylines, and for that, I got to put it at number 5. It just isn't all that good. It has its moments. You know, the 3rd season's pretty good. Season 6, they made a bit of a comeback. But again, a good example, season 6, they made a comeback because they had ghostwriters. So even that, it's like, it wasn't Ian and Andrew that wrote that season. Like, at least most of it, you know? So it definitely makes a lot of sense why season 6 is the way it is and why season 3 is the way it is. But a lot of the rest of the show is not that good. It's really embarrassing at times too, especially in the last 2 seasons. So no, Fear the Walking Dead definitely is going to be a number 5. It's not as bad as the other 2 because I think there are some characters that work. Also, there are a lot of Walking Dead characters in this show, and I think that definitely helps the show out of not being a full, just, you know, trash pit. But it's not that much further behind. I'll say it's not like World Beyond and Tales are below, but it's not by much. I'll tell you that right now. Number 4 is then going to be The Walking Dead Dead City. So now getting into the new era, the new section of The Walking Dead. So this for sure for me, out of the 3 new spin-offs that have released, is my least favorite. This show is definitely really good. It has a lot of things about it that I do enjoy. I like Maggie and Negan. I like their characters. I like them going into New York. I think the premise of the Croat with old savior lore and the fact that, you know, we have old saviors coming back to haunt Negan in this show, I think is really good. I mean, they even give us a Simon cameo in this show, so I mean, they definitely go all out. I think the only thing that bogs this show down is I feel like the conflict between Maggie and Negan is a little overdone. Again, in season 1, I understand why you're doing it because you're introducing us to this show, and you have to tell us what the conflict is between them, so it makes sense. But I will admit, if they continue to do this in season 2, it's going to start affecting the show big time. I just don't understand why they would have them 2 bickering. If you're going to do that, why did they have their own show together? That's my question, because Negan could have easily had his own show on his own. They put Maggie in here. Make sure that in season 2, writers, Maggie is not the way she was in season 1. That's the biggest thing that I will say. I hope that they don't do that again, but we'll have to see, right? Now, number 3 is then going to be The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. Now, this is a phenomenal series. This show, admittedly, out of all 7 shows that I'm ranking here, this was the show I was the most blown away by, and I'll tell you why. I had the lowest expectations for this show. It was ridiculous. I mean, honestly, when I found out that there was a show about Daryl Dixon washing up in France with French people running around, I was like, oh my god, they've killed his character. I was like, no, this is not going to go well at all. But to my surprise, it was actually even better than Dead City. This show actually upped the ante even more. The budget was probably, you know what I'll say? In terms of a budget for a spinoff, this is my number 1 show. 100%. It visually looks so appealing. And here's the thing. Daryl has a lot of charisma. Isabel, Caudron, Laurent, all these characters, really well done. They really expanded on Daryl. They really introduced some great additional characters in this show. And I think the French setting definitely adds to the uniqueness. I think the walkers are at probably their all-time scariest, to be honest, in this show. They are really nerve-wracking to watch at some points, you know? And it's really good. The tone is great. The show is great. The overall episode structure is really good. The 6 episodes does it justice, I would say. And it overall is a fantastic series. It really is. Now, to exceed the expectations even more, number 2 is going to be The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. Now, yes, this for me is definitely my second favorite show, for sure. I don't think it's even a debate. Now, if you're talking about objectively speaking here, and I will make this statement before I go over Ones Who Live. If you're talking about objective writing and the objective story, I think Daryl Dixon is more flawless. I will say that. But if we're going favoritism, which is what this is, personal favorite shows, number 2 is definitely Ones Who Live. This show is one we've been waiting for so long. I think for the most part it paid off. Yes, I think the ending was rushed, but I still overall really enjoyed the show. I enjoyed seeing Rick. I enjoyed seeing, you know, what they did with him, especially in that first episode. And it admittedly was one of my favorite limited events I've ever seen, you know? I mean, the connection between Rick and Michonne and the amount of things that they did with them, you know, sending off Jadis in this show, introducing the CRM, fleshing them out, you know, all the way up until the very end. I mean, it really was an incredible show. It really, really was. And though I kind of wish that we got more seasons, this as a standalone is definitely my number 2. It was anticipated for many years. A lot of it paid off. And like I said, I have, you know, minor issues here and there, but overall, favoritism-wise, it's not even close. It's Rick Grimes. I mean, it's definitely going to be my second favorite show, easily. And they gave us the family reunion that we wanted at the end of the show, and that's another thing that kind of pushes that forward a little bit, you know? Now, number 1, you guys all know what my favorite one is. Number 1, The Walking Dead. Now, this one is never going to change. This one's always going to be my favorite out of the 7 Walking Dead shows. It's just the most nostalgia for me. It's 11 seasons, so it also has that advantage over it. Not to mention, most seasons are phenomenal. I love season 1, 2, 3, you know, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, like, you know what I mean? Like, the only seasons I think only really suffer in this show is like 7 and then some of season 8, you know? But aside from that, I don't see any reason why this show wouldn't be number 1. It's phenomenal. It is the most, you know, character drama I've ever seen on TV, and I mean that in a complimentary way. It's some of the best, you know, stuff I've ever seen of television. It is my favorite show of television. So you had to know this was going to be my number 1. It's why I'm here on YouTube after 8 years, is because of this show, because of my interest in the original Walking Dead. I actually kind of owe it my number 1 spot, I would say. And that's, to me, objective as well, too. There's just the most quality you'll ever get on Walking Dead in the main series. The main series, in particular the first 6 seasons, untouchable TV. Absolutely untouchable TV. It's so amazing. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you guys think? And do you guys agree with this ranking? Post comments down below. Leave your rankings as well down in the comment section below. I would love to see it. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoy videos like this, make sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos of The Walking Dead. Make sure to follow me at Dan's The Walking Dead Reviews on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos of The Walking Dead universe. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.